Okay, so today we are doing a deep dive into Harlan Coben and Reese Witherspoon's thriller Gone Before Goodbye.
Right.
And this isn't just, a straightforward plot summary.
Mhm.
It's really more of an investigation.
Yeah, an investigation into how this one very specific surgical skill can just pull a person, Dr. Maggie McCabe, from her life.
And throw her right into this global mess of organ trafficking, conspiracy, and just total betrayal.
And our mission for you today is to really unpack this chronologically. We're going to track Maggie's story from being this, celebrated surgeon.
All the way down to a disgraced doctor and then to this final horrifying act of revenge at the end.
Yep.
It's a wild ride.
It really is.
So to really get Maggie's motivation, we have to start with a huge void in her life, which is the death of her husband, Dr. Mark Adams.
Or his reported death.
Exactly. This happened a year earlier in Gadams during a humanitarian crisis, and the scene is just pure chaos.
Gunfire, child soldiers everywhere. And Mark is completely focused on saving this one 15-year-old boy, Azil.
And he makes the choice to stay behind.
And that's the choice that leads to his supposed death and just completely dismantles Maggie's life.
So fast forward a year, we're in Baltimore. Maggie's a former surgical star. Her license is gone. She's broke.
And totally adrift. Which is where the story introduces, I think, one of its most fascinating and, frankly, kind of heartbreaking pieces of tech.
The grief bot.
The grief bot. It's this advanced AI avatar of Mark that her sister, who's an AI developer, created for her from his entire digital footprint.
And this isn't just some chatbot, right?
No, not at all.
Yeah.
It's an AI that can hold conversations based on literally everything Mark ever wrote or said or even just, thought digitally.
I have to pause on that because that's such a huge psychological piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
You're not just listening to a recording. You are actively keeping the dead alive.
It's the ultimate coping mechanism, but it's also the ultimate form of isolation. It stops her from actually processing the trauma.
She's talking to a ghost. And that makes her so vulnerable right before all the pressure starts to build.
And that pressure comes in the form of cash. She goes to this scholarship ceremony, runs into Dr. Steve Shipner, the boob whisperer.
A great nickname.
And her old mentor, Dr. Evan Barlow. And Barlow offers her $20,000 just to show up for a meeting in New York.
It's a classic desperation play.
Yeah.
And she's desperate.
And that desperation is very quickly exploited. In New York, she meets Barlow and this guy, Ivan Brofsky, who has this very distinct London accent.
And he just escalates the offer like crazy.
Completely. They need her very specific expertise in facial reconstruction for 2 patients, private location, overseas.
And they're not just offering her a job. They're offering her, total freedom.
The stakes are insane. $10 million, $5 million wired immediately.
And they'll settle her malpractice lawsuit. So all her debt, her entire past, is just erased in one move.
It's the perfect trap, the ultimate golden handcuffs. But before she can even say yes, we get this amazing dose of reality.
Her biker father-in-law, Pork Chop.
And his gang, Pinky and the bowling pin guy, they just show up. They're these blue-collar protectors in a world of absolute billionaires.
I love that collision of worlds. You have this sleek Manhattan office, and then a guy named Pork Chop.
It totally grounds the plot. It's a warning that even if you fly to some Russian palace, biker justice still applies. He even gives Brofsky the car's license plate, M47235, as a threat.
So she accepts?
Yeah.
And she's immediately, she's packaged up.
She's flown out on this insane renovated Airbus A320. It's like a penthouse in the sky, but she figures out very quickly that she's a prisoner.
They cut the Wi-Fi. She thinks she's been drugged.
And she wakes up in Russia at Oleg Grigorovich's private winter palace.
Yeah.
And the wealth is it's described as grotesque.
Yeah, and that detail about the Mona Lisa forgeries, so perfect.
3 of them in one room. And he's bragging that the one in the Louvre is probably a fake anyway.
It shows you he doesn't just want wealth. He wants to control reality itself.
And that control gets tested when Brofsky walks in and catches her talking to the grief bot.
So she has to explain this idea of an AI ghost to these, ruthless criminals.
So the actual mission, it turns out she's there to perform this highly experimental reconstructive nose surgery on Rogorovich.
And this is not standard stuff. It involves an artificial scaffold that's printed with an AI on an MB-Reps 3D printer.
Right, biocompatible polyethylene. So you have the absolute pinnacle of medical tech being used for a criminal purpose, and she's never even done the procedure before.
Which just cements her role as this high-risk surgical maverick. She pulls it off,
Yeah.
but then the first real crack in her reality appears.
With the second patient, Nadia Strauss, Rogorovich's young mistress.
And while Maggie's working on Nadia, she sees it. The Serpents and Saint tattoo Mark had, the exact same one, on Nadia's thigh.
That's the moment, that one detail.
And it gets worse. Nadia tells her the surgeon who removed her kidney gave her the tattoo, and then she drops a name.
Trace tried to stop it.
Trace Packer, their friend and colleague. Suddenly, Mark is tied to this whole dark world.
The denial she's been living in for a year just shatters. She calls the grief bot again.
And this time, the AI, acting on some deep, suppressed survival program for Mark, it gives her a warning.
It tells her the surgery wasn't cosmetic, it was a disguise. The man she operated on was a fake Rogorovich.
And that she's next. They're going to murder her and dump her body in a mine.
Oh, the shift is so jarring. She goes from intense surgical focus to pure survival mode.
She has to get out now.
Ugh.
She escapes the security guard cinder block on the roof.
And her escape plan is just brilliant. She runs to the car showroom.
Because she knows the guards won't risk shooting up Oleg's multi-million-dollar car collection.
So she grabs an old Ferrari and just drives it straight into a ravine to get away from the SUV chasing her. It's pure panicked genius.
She's rescued from the wreckage by an investigator, a guy named Charles Lockwood, maybe CIA. He says he was undercover at the palace.
And he finally gives her the big picture, the first big picture anyway.
He reveals that Rogorovich was using her own charity, World Cures, as a massive front for money laundering
and for procuring human organs. It's horrific. And Mark had found out he'd turned informant.
And this is where the next theory comes in. Lockwood suggests Mark didn't actually die.
Right. That he faked his death, using the chaos of the war zone to escape Rogorovich and to protect Maggie.
He also says Trace is alive and looking for Mark. So from Russia, she's whisked away to Dubai.
To the Bugatti residences, of all places, with a car elevator that takes your Bugatti right up to your penthouse. The contrast is just wow.
There she meets Steve Shipner, the boob whisperer, at the Apollo Longevity Clinic.
A clinic that she and Mark were once involved with, and Steve confirms the most awful secret.
Apollo Longevity is a hub for organ trafficking.
It's worse than that, even. They take women, discarded mistresses of powerful men, and surgically refurbish them.
To increase their value for sex trafficking rings.
It's just the absolute depth of corruption, using medical skills to fuel this black market.
And the lies just keep piling up. She confronts Nadia again.
And Nadia confesses. Her real name was Salima. Rogorovich recruited her to lure Maggie out, hoping she would lead them to Trace.
So Maggie was just bait the whole time. High-value bait.
Which leads them to the final location, a secret bunker under an abandoned vineyard in Bordeaux.
Where she meets the real Oleg Rogorovich.
Yeah.
Sickly, paranoid, dying.
And he confirms it. The man in the Winter Palace was his cousin, Alexander. A body double, sacrificed to make the world think Oleg was dead.
The surgery she did was to make the double look more like Oleg's old military photos before he was killed.
And now, the real Oleg reveals his final terrifying plan.
He needs her specific genius, for a heart transplant.
But not just any transplant. He wants her to implant Mark's experimental Thumb PR7 artificial heart alongside a healthy, beating human heart from a refugee.
Mark's legacy, his revolutionary invention, is now going to be used to save this monster.
And to make sure she complies, he gives her the ultimate threat. If you refuse.
He'll have Porkchop's heart ripped out without anesthesia while she watches.
So she has no choice. She has to do it.
But right before the surgery, the final betrayals start coming out. And they are brutal.
Porkchop confesses. He knew Mark was alive.
Wait, so Mark was alive? After all that?
He was, but here's the twist. Mark wasn't killed by Rogorovich. He was killed by Trace Packer.
By Trace? Why?
Trace was against the organ trade. He killed Mark to protect himself from being exposed. And then, Porkchop, to get revenge for his son, tracked down and killed Trace.
My God. So it's just this awful, tragic circle of revenge. And Porkchop made a deal to deliver Maggie and the Thumb PR7.
Exactly, for safety and money, a family betrayal driven by grief. So Maggie, with all this weighing on her, is forced into the OR.
And she performs the world's first Thumb PR7 tandem transplant on Rogorovich with some unknown assistant surgeon.
And it's a massive success. Mark's invention works perfectly. The most corrupt man in the world gets a new heart.
The assistant surgeon, the gruff voice, just vanishes right after. Maggie chases him, but she just sees a guy in a baseball cap driving away.
The procedure is done, but the revenge is not.
And that epilogue is maybe the most chilling part of the whole book. Maggie gets home, and Porkchop tells her the rest of his plan.
He didn't just bring the equipment for the surgery. He orchestrated what came after.
After Maggie saved Rogorovich's life, workshop arranged for his other organs to be removed while he was still alive and unconscious.
His corneas, a kidney, a lung, his liver, his pancreas. It's this gruesome, delayed form of justice.
So Grigorovich is left effectively gutted, but the brand new revolutionary heart that Maggie installed is still beating.
Beat, 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 a machine-fueled life in a dying body.
Wow. So she went from a grief plot to a global conspiracy, and her sanctuary, the OR, became the stage for both saving a life and ending it.
She did. She found her way back to the operating room, her true self, by performing this incredibly morally complex surgery.
It's a full circle moment, but at what cost?
Well, that's the thing. And it really raises an important question for you to think about. In a world that's built on such profound corruption, is the act of saving a life, even the life of a monster like Grigorovich, enough to justify the chaos, the betrayal, and all the violence it took to get there? Thanks for joining us. Subscribe for more bookish adventures and hit that like button if you enjoyed the ride. Don't forget to share the knowledge, spread the word.